There's no doubt that folk herbalists and other natural healers like yourself usually get into this work out of a strong sense of wanting to be of service, meaning to do good for the world, and often one person at a time. You want to help those who are in pain, and you want to use herbs and methods that spare them the side effects of prescribed drugs. You've usually made a pledge to live and practice in ways that honor the plants as well as the healing processes. And you intensely care about making things better. While you both deserve and actually need an income in order to survive and do your important work, your heart's calling is likely centered around and anchored in a poignant sense of service. This is, unlike most MDs these days, doctors whose desire to ease suffering is so often compromised by the desire for the dollar or the push to get patients in and out the door as quickly as possible. While they might be genuinely happy to see people recover, their system is based on everyone being able to afford insurance. And so there's damn few who offer reduced rates or deferred payments to those most in need. In my many years of working with herbalists and hosting the Good Medicine Confluence, I've always found myself impressed with how many of you offer discounts to different individuals and demographics, or else dedicate a portion of what you make to a community or to a cause. Again and again, I've witnessed you herb shop owners giving out lengthy free device, heard the tales of you plant healers staffing free herbal clinics at festivals and at gatherings. And I've watched our confluence teachers handing out tinctures to attendees while saying things like, "Send the money when you can," or "Just see if it works and pay me later if it helps." I've frankly been blown away knowing how many of you give your so-called spare time to repairing plant habitat or launching community gardens with healthy food crops and medicinal herbs or offering consultations at a local free clinic. I work mighty hard to support and champion this plant healer tribe. But how could I not when you all care so deeply and give so much? Compassionate service is partly corrective and redemptive, but it's not just what redeems us as a species. It's something that actually helps keep that great energetics wheel going round. It is literally doing a good turn. The entire natural world is part of that interactive gifting cycle, constantly revolving and in which all things give and receive in overall equal measure. But service is something more, in that it's an actual conscious choice, a deliberate and not at all automatic gifting. Service means extra to the recipients that your service benefits. Why? Because it's recognized as being an intentional and a heartfelt expenditure of your time and skill, your medicines and your love, not something you do for yourself, but for others. This is true whether you're a neighborhood practitioner or a large and growing company, whether you're a medicine maker or a consulting clinician. The ways and means might be different depending, but the motivation for service, the call to contribute to well-being or to justice, and the powerful and admirable desire to give is the same. I'll give you here just a few of the possibilities for inspiration. Herb sellers, herb clinicians, herbal consultants, and other kinds of natural healers can serve by offering things such as sliding scales, offering from a small discount down to totally free for those who can in no way afford to get your help otherwise. This can be based on whatever criteria feels best to you and be for whatever kinds of people or situations that you feel strongest about. Secondly, deferred payment plans can be a way to help people out while still getting some funds coming in instead of just bearing all the costs of labor and supplies yourself. Work trades can sometimes be a way for recipients to feel good about their giving back to you. You provide treatments, medicines, consultations, and follow-ups, educational classes, or whatever your specialty happens to be, and they, in turn, provide a service such as helping you with your medicine making or stocking shelves or even childcare or vehicle repair. Bartering is the oldest and the most natural of human economies, and long before there was any currency, there were folks trading their labors or their surplus resources for someone else's help or stash of curative herbs. Those without the money to pay you will feel especially well served by an offer to accept their barter. You can volunteer some of your time every month, often doing what you love, from offering to help at a free clinic on certain days to projects like planting endangered plant species on public lands, and even non-herbal related labor, such as for organizations and communities that you want to help and support the goals of. Additionally, donations of medicinal herb products that you give to aid groups or nonprofits, that can be an awesome way to give back, especially during difficult times or following a natural disaster. And lastly, donating a percentage of profits to a group, a project, or a cause is a simple way to contribute, supporting the people, the issues, and the land that you love. If you happen to have a company of any kind, a school, an apothecary, or an herbal product business, you might additionally consider the following ways of service. Things such as providing discount programs and products for those that you want to assist and support, such as the marginalized or the indigenous, as well as for the impoverished. If you have a physical or online herbal school, or you organize educational events, scholarships can be a great service, encouraging and equipping folks who have the interest and the passion but can't possibly get the bucks to pay. You can dedicate a percentage of your company profits to selected groups that are doing the most for what you value the most, helping to fund things like health education programs, organic farming initiatives, seed banks, food banks, land trusts, botanical sanctuaries, and conservation organizations like the United Plant Savers. You might think about giving your employees paid time off in order to participate in meaningful volunteer work. Those they help will appreciate it, and they, the employees, may love the opportunity to do something different as well as something beneficial. And lastly, no matter what kind of business that you have, you can well serve the community, spread herbal awareness by becoming a sponsor of one of the many herbal events like the Good Medicine Confluence or Brighton Bush. You know how a spiritual ceremony is sometimes called a service? In this sense, any of the above ways that we might give are spiritual devotion in themselves. A selfless sacrament, a liturgy of empathizing, aiding, and remedying. A plant healer's service is always more than pragmatic assistance. It can be seen as an act of kindness, as a warm, helping hand, as encouragement and equipping, and as devoted ministrations. Interestingly, you know how to be of service. You're a caregiver for sure, but you don't just care, you're indisputably givers. It has never been more evident how very much that you give to others, never more clear than how much you benefit this living, needing world now. And if you value this talk, you can help me reach more people by leaving a comment below, telling me what you think, mashing that like button, and sharing the links to this series on your social. Until we talk again, my friends, live deeply, adventure much, and savor always.